This is information on the changes for GCSE Leisure and Tourism in the light of the reforms from the government, from QCA, from Ofqual. So sit tight and let's begin. Okay, what are the GCSE reforms? And this is what Ofqual has confirmed. And this will be happening for those of you teaching 2-year courses starting in September 2012. All GCSE assessment will be linear in structure, so that examinations will be taken at the end of the course. This affects 2-year courses starting in September 2012 and any 3-year courses that started in September 2011. Additional marks can be awarded for spelling, punctuation and grammar for GCSEs in the following subjects: English literature, geography, history and religious studies. For those of you who've been around for a long time, we're going back to the old SPAG. Units cannot be resat before the units are cashed in. Availability of examinations will only be available in the summer series, no longer in the January of that current series. But controlled assessment can be conducted at any time, but obviously submitted at the end of the course, as we do now. This is the proposed Ofqual timeline. We're looking at September 2012 and hopefully it will stay stable before being looked at again in 2004 and 2015. You can have a look and see that there's the first teaching of the last GCSE 2-year courses with any modular assessment in September 2011, and obviously we start the new reforms in September 2012. Any of your students will be restricted to entering for awards no later than autumn 2013, for English language, English and maths, and no later than summer 2013 for all other subjects. In June 2013 will be the final exam series for modular assessment, excluding English language, English and maths. In November 2013 will be the final exam series for modular assessment in English language, English and maths, and just like in our GCSE Leisure and Tourism, the 40% terminal assessment rule must be met, which means a certain amount of work must be done in the year when the students are in year 11. Jan 2014 and March 2014 will no longer be used for GCSE examinations, and as you can see with that little green box that's just come up, if any 3-year courses started in September 2010, SPAG would be included. And last September, the first teaching of any 2-year GCSE courses where additional marks can be awarded for SPAG, English Lit, Geography, History and RS. And obviously any teaching of new linear GCSE 3-year courses was last September. And we have to look forward to the first teaching of our new linear courses this September. The 2 green boxes that have come up now will show that obviously as we move through any assessments externally sat, these will now include additional marks for SPAG in the subjects that I've already mentioned. And in June 2014, linear qualifications will only be available in the May and June exam series. GCSEs in English language, English and maths available as linear qualifications, no other subjects available in November 2014. This is how it has been historically for these subjects. GCSE reforms, as far as Edexcel can see, is that there is minimal change to the specification. With the exception of those subjects introducing marks for SPAG, Edexcel have no plans to change the subject content of the specifications as a result of the GCSE reforms announced by Ofqual. The GCSE reforms will affect the way external assessment is taken rather than changing actual external assessments. And obviously this is based on draft specifications submitted to Ofqual and will be subject to change in the final accredited qualification. Candidates will have to take all GCSE assessments at the end of the course for awards made from summer 2014 onwards. The GCSE examination series will be restricted to May and June, apart from English, English language and mathematics, which will offer retake opportunities in November. In addition, there will be extra marks for spelling, punctuation and grammar, and these will be, as already said, in English, literature, geography, history and religious studies. And these changes will affect written and externally assessed units available from January 2013. Marks will be allocated to individual questions and students will be informed which questions include marks for SPAG. This is a little like our QWC questions. GCSE reforms as far as controlled assessment, no content changed. There are no proposed changes to controlled assessment content. Again, this is based on draft specifications which have been submitted to Ofqual and will be subject to change in the final accredited qualification. Schools may continue to schedule controlled assessments at their discretion as far as this is permitted by the specification. However, just like we do currently, controlled assessments can only be submitted at the end of the course. Controlled assessment unit results may be carried forward if a student wishes to retake the whole qualification. And obviously you do need to make sure that you are using the correct task for the submission date at the end of the course. Unit results over 2 exam sessions. Candidates will not be allowed to carry unit results forward from one examination series to another with these exceptions. Where the units have already been used to count towards a GCSE single award and a candidate wishes to reuse the unit result for a double award in the same subject, or where a candidate wishes to carry forward the result from one or more controlled assessment units in order to retake a whole qualification. Government reforms to performance tables from 2014. The headline indicator will continue to be 5+ A stars to C GCSEs, including English and Maths. All qualifications, regardless of size, will count as the equivalent of 1 GCSE. Vocational and academic qualifications will be continued to be recognised. Edexcel certificates will be included, and the EBAC, a new performance measure awarded to any student who secures good GCSE, C or above, or accredited certificate passes for English, Maths, History or Geography, 2 sciences, and an ancient or modern foreign language. For those of us delivering GCSE Leisure and Tourism, there will be minimal changes for this subject. No content changes are expected. The controlled assessment task will be reviewed every 2 years as currently happens. The controlled assessment task will cover the unit specification during the life of the qualification, and the controlled assessment tasks for both units 2 and 4 will be available from the Edexcel website. The biggest change for this subject will be the removal of the January external assessment opportunity for units 1 and 3. The externally assessed units will be taken at the end of the course. There is still the flexibility available to choose either Unit 2 or 4, with Unit 1 for the single award GCSE. Suggested approaches for delivery of the GCSE Leisure and Tourism. Begin with Unit 1 as an overview to the whole specification from September to January. This will then cover background knowledge and understanding for Units 2 and 4. Delivery of Unit 2 or 4 with controlled assessment taking place by Easter to allow for revision of Unit 1 to be covered by the examination date in May or June. Submission of the controlled assessment task by 15th of May to the moderator, as usual. Unit 1 revision and reinforcement can take place while either Unit 2 or Unit 4 controlled assessments are being produced. Allow 1 lesson a week for revisiting of Unit 1 content. Schemes of work should not require too much tweaking or amending. Exam practice can take place at any time but should become the focus after Easter. Students will be able to complete their controlled assessment units and feel that they can concentrate on the examined units, which should then become their focus, as all subjects will be sat at the same time. Edexcel hopes to support you, your students, you as the centre assessor, every step of the way. We have Ask the Expert, which puts you in direct contact with the senior examiners and moderators, who will be able to help you with detailed subject inquiries and email you back within 3 working days. Edexcel hopes to keep you informed through sending out a series of mailings over February and March to ensure you are kept up to date about the reforms, and the subject page. Keep an eye on the Leisure and Tourism webpage for more information. So a summary then. There is a move to linear assessment. Marks for SPAG, spelling, punctuation and grammar, in English literature, history, geography and religious studies. There are no plans to change the subject content of GCSE specifications. There are no plans to change the content of controlled assessments. Units not resat before the cash-in. Exams will be restricted to the summer series. The headline indicator for performance tables will continue to be 5+ A stars to C GCSEs, including English and Mathematics, and the EBAC performance measure introduced. You can visit www.edexcel.com/GCSE reforms for further details. Any questions?